Greetings, YouTubers, gamers, everyone in between. This is the Night Runner, bringing you some defensive strategies from Madden 2.0, Madden 20, game everyone's talking about. We're going to start this one off fast and furious right here. As you can see, my opponent is coming out in an onside kick for the first play of the game right here, being aggressive. Luckily, I had the wits about me to look at the bottom of my screen, see he's coming out an onside kick, and I got an onside kick return. Got the recovery right there. Obviously, that's a great strategy a lot of opponents will try to use. They know that people will just automatically select kickoff return, and it gives them a much better chance for a recovery if they can sneak in that onside kick for you right there. So, gets us to our first situation. Very important to pay very, very close attention to what your opponent's coming out in. When you're in that special teams menu, make sure that he is indeed picking the ball up. Now, I'm starting off on offense here, but a little spoiler, I'm not going to be on offense for very long. We're going to have a turnover coming up right here, which is going to shoot us right into everything right off the bat. It's going to get us into quick change, audibles, spy defense, and user coverage. Here's the fumble right there. My opponent's about to get the ball. Madden 20, you breathe on the quarterback, he drops the ball. So right away, I'm in a quick change situation. I'm having to jump right into setting my defensive audibles, and it's my first defensive series of the game, so I have a long list of things that I need to do. When I come out onto the field, I'm going to need to spy my linebacker. I'll get into that a little more as we go along. I'm also going to need to flip the field, as I like to play in the defensive view. So here we go. I'm spying my linebacker, and I'm getting my user ready for coverage right there. And what does my opponent do? He comes right out and throws the screenplay right at me in that quick change situation right there. I think that's a brilliant play call on his part. Caught me right off guard. So right away, like, I'm already on my toes just like that. So he's coming back in the 3 wide right here. Same thing, spying my linebacker. And I'm going to be picking my user right here. Now as the user, I'm going to be following the first person to come across my face. I'm going to assume that's my quarterback's first read. In this case, it's going to end up being successful. It was his first read. He goes to his second read down the field. That's going to be Tyreek Hill in the end zone, who is covered by my safety as I'm in a cover 3 defense right there. So it all went down in that first drive right there. Everything. Quick change, setting your defensive audibles, and the importance of user coverage right there. I got him to go to his second read down the field. Because I was right in guessing that his first read was going to be the first person that is streaking across the field. One thing I like to do is I like to make sure that I'm in cover 3 defense, especially against Kansas City Chiefs. You know, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill, who can always beat you over the top. So I like to make sure that the deep middle part of the field is covered as far as that goes. I come out in a cover 3 flat on first downs and short yardage downs. The personnel, whether it's 3-4 or nickel, depends on my opponent's personnel on the field. We're going to be talking a lot about that in this video, as you're going to see me making frequent mistakes on my personnel versus my opponent's personnel. So on that first drive right there, my opponent gave me no reason to get out of cover 3 flat right there. Cover 3 flat again is going to be a play I'm going to use in either 3-4 defense or nickel defense, depending on the personnel and the down and distance. So if it's either any down and short being below 5 yards, I'm going to be in flat coverage, and if it's just first down, whatever, I'll be in flat coverage as well. Usually my reasoning behind that is because generally on first down, if my opponent is indeed going to throw, it's probably going to be a short pass, and short passes usually tend to be thrown to the flat area of the field right there, just kind of playing the percentages as far as that goes. Now I also, as I mentioned, spy my linebacker. Got a touchdown. As far as spying goes and how the spy works in the cover 3 flat defense, my first down and my short yardage defense, is I am going to user the linebacker that is on the side of the field with the most potential receivers, whether that be running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, whatever, splitting the field in half, whatever side of that split has the most people that can potentially catch the ball, that's where I'm going to act as the user. Then my linebacker on the other side, I'm going to select him as the spy. And in case you don't know, the way you select spy is you audible with X, and then you hit the left stick to the left. I believe that puts him in quarterback spy, and then his entire mission in life is to follow the quarterback around, kind of keep the quarterback boxed in, and not allow him to scramble, and that's the whole purpose. So here I am lined up in the 3-4 cover 3 flat right here, again spying my left linebacker and then using my right linebacker as he's on the side of the field where there are the most potential receivers there. So now finally we have a long situation right here. I'm going to be spying my edge rusher on this. So on a down and distance, got another interception because he's being aggressive, going over the top. User coverage took away his first option. He goes to that second option. So going back to the defense that I was in that situation. So anytime we have a down and distance that is not first down or a short yards to go, I am typically in what is the cover 3 cloud. Now I operate that one a little differently. In the cover 3 flat, I will spy my linebacker. I will spy again my linebacker that's on the lesser side of the field as far as pass catchers go. In the cover 3 cloud, when we get to like a second or third down and 5 or more, this time I will set my edge rusher as the spy. Now it's important that when you are selecting a spy on the defensive line, you want to make sure that it is a spy that can keep up with the quarterback, because the entire job of this audible right here is to have that defensive player following the quarterback, containing him. You have these quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Jacoby Brissett, Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, scrambling quarterbacks that have some speed, Josh Allen. If you set a defensive lineman as their spy, chances are that defensive lineman isn't always being the operative word, you'll see a little bit later, isn't always going to be able to keep up with the quarterback. In fact, 9 out of 10 times the quarterback's going to be able to outrun that defensive lineman. So it's important that if you are setting a spy with someone on your defensive line, that it is one of the edge rushers. Now, I prefer to set the edge rusher opposite J.J. Watt. I believe Whitney Merciless is his name. 59, I believe. He's the one on the opposite side. Reason being is I prefer to have J.J. Watt always going after the quarterback. That's what he does best in Madden. So I want him free to go after the quarterback, whereas I want his opposite side edge rusher in the spy. But again, that is when I'm in the cover 3 cloud on either second or third and long being more than 5 yards right there. So we make the distinction. In the cover 3 flat, I'm spying the linebacker on the side of the field with less pass catchers. In the cover 3 cloud, I am spying the edge rusher that is opposite J.J. Watt. So that's how that works right there. On other teams, you'll probably want to spy the guy that is not your best edge rusher. It's it's not optimal to have your best pass rusher spying. Although in this game, J.J. Watt is such a great athlete that he'll get you interceptions and force fumbles. So it's not the worst thing, but just for efficiency's sake, I prefer to have my killer pass rushers be killer pass rushers. Got another touchdown right here, about to go up 14-0. So far, my opponent on offense has been very aggressive. He hasn't run the ball yet, and he's only been throwing. He's had 2 interceptions by way of me taking away his first option in the middle of the field and him going deep. So we'll see what kind of adjustments he makes to that, because obviously he's not going to want to continue to just launch it to the deep middle of the field when my guys are doing a pretty good job of covering that. So now we're going to address the fact that I make multiple mistakes in this game. My opponent is coming out in 1 running back, 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver. And I'm coming out in the 3-4 defense right here. I'm going to spend a little bit of time harping on myself for this mistake because I'm going to continue making this mistake throughout the game. Good play call there. Nice screen pass again on first down. So typically, I judge my personnel on my opponent's personnel, and on first down, I am highly conditioned to coming out in the 3-4 odd because most opponents, 9 out of 10 opponents, oof, nice touchdown. Got me over the top there. He got a little lucky, but good play on my opponent's part despite the cover 3. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, I like to set my personnel up based on my opponent's personnel. And 9 out of 10 opponents on first down come out in the 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 tight end set. Take note of that right there. My opponent scoring a 2-point conversion on me to Travis Kelce. That was a user coverage failure right there. That was me being user coverage, but not getting to Travis Kelce quick enough. It's important to take note of things that your opponent does throughout the game. I think that's what makes a good defender. You got to have a good memory for things like that, especially your mistakes. So going back to this personnel problem that I'm having in this game so far, 9 out of 10 opponents will come out in the 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end set on first down, indicating that it is a run. My opponent keeps coming out in 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 1 running back setup. So what's happening is I am being a creature of habit here, seeing the 2, and the 1, and just assuming that he is coming out in 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end. I'm making a huge mistake by coming out in the 3-4 in this set because typically if you have 4 receivers on the field, they are tight ends, but they're still receivers. If you have 4 pass catchers, designated pass catchers on the field right there, I want to be in the nickel for that. But unfortunately, I'm keeping myself undermanned. I'm dedicating a linebacker to being a spy, and I'm using my other linebacker in the cover 3 flat to cover the middle of the field right there. So that's given him the ability to leak his running back out and have extra pass catchers. He basically has a 4 wide receiver set here, and I'm coming out in the 3-4 when I should be bringing on an extra defensive back here. So he keeps fooling me in this coverage. I'm going to call a timeout here because he is in the empty backfield. Now, here's the thing too. That's me being in the wrong personnel. So anytime you have your opponent coming out, or anytime my opponent comes out in the empty backfield, I audible to a different defense. I come out into the cover 2 sink. Obviously, he's not running it here. He's got a running back in the backfield here, so we're not an empty backfield. So anytime, this speaks to setting your audibles at the beginning of the game, no huddle situations, or like having an audible. Anytime my opponent has no running back in the backfield, I audible to what is the cover 2 sink. And the reason for that is because we have a 4 wide receiver set in that case where I have to account for 4 wide receivers. In that case, my strategy becomes using a more true zone defense to contain the big play. Now it does come with its pitfalls as it can expose the middle of the field being in cover 2. Nice play leaking out the running back here, I believe. No huddle right there. Finally, we have another one of those 2nd and longs here. He's going to come out in 3 wide. I'm going to be in the cover 3 cloud. Again, using my end as the spy here and using my linebacker on whatever side of the field. That's the benefit there. As you can see, the benefit there of spying in mobile quarterbacks right there. My linebacker doing a great job of containing Patrick Mahomes on that play. All right, so same defense here. We got our end in contain. I am usering on the side of the field. When I'm in the cover 3 cloud, I don't necessarily adhere to the side of the field where there's more receivers rule. See, that was just bad user coverage right there. I should have been on Tyreek Hill on that play right there. Just bad user coverage. You can see me trying to lurk and just getting the late reaction. Bad user coverage. I'm in the wrong defense here again. Again, coming out in the 3-4 when he has 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back. Reading that wrong, coming out in the wrong personnel. Again, that allows him to have his running back leak out of the backfield. Here we are going 2-point conversion. Did I learn my lesson from the last 2-point conversion with that Travis Kelce out route? No, I did not. He's successful on that again. 2 plays in a row of bad user coverage right there. 3 plays in a row, actually, with bad user coverage. And just being in the wrong personnel. So these issues that I'm having on defense right here, him getting those 2 quick scores and the 2 quick 2-point conversions, they totally could be avoided if I were being vigilant and paying better attention to the set he's coming out of. And you remember we started this game with my opponent coming out in an onside kick. I did a great job there of recognizing that, but it's ironic that he keeps getting me in the wrong defense here. Obviously trying to make something happen before the end of the half here. Coming out in my offense. Taking a timeout, trying to get some more points on the board. Now, I think it's funny, he's run 2 2-point conversions in this game for no apparent mathematical reason. But it's going to work out for him pretty good in the fact that, you know, chances are, if I score here, it's probably going to be a field goal. And that'll put me up by 8, which makes it a more attainable game for him. You know, it almost shows a method to his madness. I think my dude's just really aggressive, though. This particular opponent he's very aggressive, and those are fun opponents to play against. Nice little dot out route to Mr. DeAndre Hopkins, courtesy of Watson there. That's why I love to play with this team. I love those 2 players together. They're so good on that corner route. So we'll get a nice little field goal here. Go up by 8. Go up by a score, you know, because he's 2 for 2 on 2-point conversions. So not a particularly comfortable lead, especially because I will be giving the ball back at half. 7 seconds left, not quite enough time to squib it. You know, like, sometimes you run the risk kicking against Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill catching the squib. You don't want that. So end of the half, he's got 4 seconds left. He's got time to run 1 play. Kansas City Chiefs, man, I don't even mess around. I'll still spy my end guy, but I'll back my defenders up, X, and then stick up, and then I will just straight up pass rush from there. I think I called out the wrong controls. Sorry, it's when you do it, you know how to do it, but like talking about like the control commands, sometimes I get a little rusty. All right, giving the ball back here to my opponent in the second half. He'll be getting it off the bat. He is down by 8. So far, as we've discussed with my personnel issues, I've been playing sloppy defense, had some user coverage problems. This is a sloppy defensive performance on my end right here. As you can see, I'm in the 3-4. He's coming out again, 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 1 running back. I'm in the wrong defense. In the wrong defense again, and just not noticing. And I'm not sure why. He's lucky he didn't throw a pick right there, being a little aggressive again. Trying to hit dude over the top, but my lineman doing a good job of getting some pressure there. So now I'm in the right defense. Audibling, empty backfield, audibling to the cover 2 sink. Getting my middle guy back. True zone defense, staying in our lane. But I let Travis Kelce get past me there. Again, that's kind of the weakness of that cover 2 sink. You can get beat over the middle. So going back to that audible, this time to correct it, I'm gonna back my linebacker up a little more. Cunningham, he's gonna be back a little further. And my opponent, nice little chess match here. He's gonna hit me underneath. He's gonna play the underneath game, I believe, on the next few plays here. So getting back, trying not to get beat down the middle. Sticking with it, staying in my lane. And he's hitting that underneath. I like to stay in my lane, in that empty backfield situation, especially with the Chiefs. I'd rather get beat for 8 to 10 yards than get dusted for a touchdown. In the wrong defense again. Now I'm just going with it. So now I have extra linebackers on the field. I am spying my lineman because I made a mistake right there. You see that DJ Reader is spying. So had he tried to scramble right there, he would have been able to get some yards. So now I'm in the right defense. I'm in nickel coverage when he has no one on the field, or he has no running backs in the backfield. However, he caught me with my pants down. He hiked the ball before I could get to the proper user right there. So now I am audibling. This time I get the correct personnel, but I selected my lineman as the spy again. We'll see if this burns me. This time. See if he outruns the lineman. DJ Reader is going to be in the spy. He tries to scramble, and honestly, I get kind of lucky there. Typically, I would say 8 out of 10 times, maybe 7 out of 10 times, when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes that has just the defensive linemen spying them like that, they'll be able to get away because they're significantly faster and it's just like no challenge for them. But luckily my man the moment was a little too big for him. He seems to be struggling with the spy concept. So he ran right into DJ Reader and we got the fumble recovery right there. So honestly, got kind of lucky there. Still playing sloppy defense, calling the wrong defense, which is causing me to call the wrong spy. Because what's happening is he's coming out in that 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end set with 1 running back, which is putting him in, which allows him to get into formations where he has no running back in the backfield. So not only am I in the wrong personnel with the 3-4, but when I'm audibling to that cover 2 sink, I'm having to cover how many receivers? 5 receivers right there, with 1 less defensive back on the field. I only have 4 D backs on the field, so he's getting a huge mismatch right there because I'm just in the wrong defense. Now, any time that I am in that situation, again, I'm in the cover 2 sink or the cover 3 cloud, that's when I spy my lineman, my potential edge rusher, rather than my middle linebacker. Now, this is causing a problem as well because when you are in the 3-4 defense, your edge rusher becomes a defensive back because you got those 4 linemen, so you can't just spy your edge rusher. You have to either spy a lineman or you have to spy J.J. Watt. And as we said earlier, we don't want to spy J.J. Watt. We want him in the coverage. So when he's running this no huddle and I'm having to think fast and I'm going to like my old habits, my training, I'm spying my D lineman. So me being in the wrong personnel is causing like this chain reaction of problems right here. And I got lucky on that last drive that DJ Reader was able to force that fumble. So despite playing sloppy defense, we're still up by 11. Do I wise up here? Do I call the nickel and get it right? No, I don't. I go to the 3-4. I'm in the wrong defense again. He's got 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and I have 4 defensive backs on the field. And look at that. Travis Kelce wide open, but I get lucky again, and he overthrows him. 2nd and 10. Now I'm in the nickel. Now I'll be in the correct defense for this situation right here. That cover 3 cloud. spying that end, and then getting on Cunningham, more receivery side of the field. Receivery, is that a word? Great wheel route here by my opponent. Very well thought out. He's going into the no huddle. I'm in that nickel defense. Good, we're in the right defense here. But this time I just decided to rush him for some reason. Beauty of that spy right there. Great contain right there. I had Whitney Merciless selected. He did a great job of spying the quarterback, containing him right there, keeping him from going for any yards. So the quarterback spy, very successful in this game. All right, audibling to the cover 2 sink. I am in the nickel defense this time because it is second down. Second down, I always get in the nickel defense regardless of personnel. I don't know if I've mentioned that because we haven't experienced a lot of second and longs, but like anytime we have second or third and long, he can be in 2 running back set. I'll still get in nickel defense in that situation. Doesn't matter. This is Madden. It's a pass-happy league. True zone coverage in that cover 2 sink, I believe, but he gets his guy underneath. All right, this is all going to happen real fast here. Again, he's got me in that cover 2 sink defense this time, but he continues to hit his guys underneath. And he's got his guy right there. He gets it down inside the 3. I'm going to call a timeout here because I'm in my nickel defense. Anytime my opponent gets within the 10-yard line, I go to 3-4 defense no matter what. There's no reason to have 5 defensive backs when you're inside the 10. I'm going 3-4 defense. All right, this is all going to happen real quick right here. He's going to run a run play right here. Here's my user defense, and he's going to get some yards, but he's going to go no huddle as well. So there he goes. He runs. He's going to go no huddle. I have my audible set. I'm audibling to a pinch, which is an all-out blitz. Going to spy my end right here, and I'm going to user my linebacker. We'll see if I remember. This time, his out route to Travis Kelce, and I do. As you can see, things can come at you really fast in Madden, and everything that you have surmised throughout the game can come into play in just one brief moment of the game. Getting just back into my defensive mindset right there at the goal line. I've been burned for 2 two-point conversions right there. This time, I was on the lookout for Travis Kelce on that play right there. So that's where you're setting your defensive audibles is so important for those no huddle situations, knowing what play to get into. In this case, he got it down to the 1-yard line, so anytime my opponent gets to the 1-yard line, I'm automatically going to go into that pinch defense because I'm supporting the run. But I also do like to spy my edge rusher in that situation, and then I will user someone who is in man and allow everyone else to like just go and get the quarterback right there. My user guy, my whole purpose or my whole strategy when I'm usering is to react to the run or the pass, just be a cerebral player in that sense right there. Now, I know that in Madden 20, a lot of people like to user faster players like cornerback safeties. I don't. I prefer to use my running back. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, usering your safety can often result in getting beat deep. Another reason is Madden 20 is a very run-heavy game, and I prefer to be on the lookout for the run. As you can see, it's very ingrained in me. It's shameful in this game that my opponent has not run the ball the whole game, but still I keep getting set up in the 3-4 odd when he's has 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers on the field. This is a direct result of the fact that I am very cautious against the run in Madden. This Madden is very run heavy. So that's why this guy's just lighting me up. I think he's almost up to like 400 yards passing here. So here I am, the right defense. I'm spying J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is being spied in this. But he goes and gets the quarterback. So yeah, it is a crime. You have to pay attention to your personnel. And that's the main thing. That's the main lesson of this particular video right here. So important to pay attention to your personnel. Cover 2 sync defense working out perfectly. Again, that's a lane defense where everyone stays in their zone, and that's just a great zone interception right there. Well, friends, thank you so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit the like button, and please feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like all things Madden, video games. I touch on a number of other subjects as well, so hope to see you for the next video. Check you later, YouTube.